In this video, I'll show you how to install or update Python packages when you're using VS Code and connected to the RSM-MSBA Docker container. So there's two ways we can do this. We could either do this directly from a Jupyter notebook, or we can do it in the terminal. And so I'm going to start with the terminal because that's the most common approach. And so what we're going to use to update packages, and it's already completing this for me, which is very nice. I am going to say pip install. So not pip3, just pip install dash dash user is important because that's going to ensure that this will go into a specific user directory that will be maintained even if the Docker container is restarted. Right? So the whole purpose of the Docker container is to provide you something that is the same across everybody. So it makes it harder to make changes because you want to be able to experiment with the system. And if you change something or break something, that's not a big deal. You just restart the Docker container and it'll be back in a pristine format. Now, sometimes that's great, but sometimes we want to be able to install things or add things that the Docker container has access to, but that will retain or be maintained when we restart the Docker container. And so the way to do that when you're working with Python packages is to add this dash dash user command. Okay. All right. So pip install user, and then between quotes, because I'm specifying a specific version or at least a specific version. So this is PyRSM, a package that you will use on occasion throughout the MSBA program. So PyRSM larger or equal to 096. Okay. And so that's going to go ahead and install that. And it's actually uninstalled the previous version, which was 0.95, and it's installed 0.96. Okay, now how would you do this in a Jupyter notebook? So I'm going to open up the command palette, which is Shift Command P on Mac or Shift Control P on Windows, and I'll say new. Oh, there we go. There's already a new Jupyter notebook. And so here you would do %pip install. Don't forget the user piece. That's important. And then we're going to do between quotes IRSM, and that could be any package, of course, right? This is just the one package that you'll use. You can do this with any package, but make sure that you don't already have this package available to you in the Docker container, because we prefer to use the versions that are in there because we want the computing environment to be as similar as possible across different users. Okay, and then 096. Let's see. I don't think I mistyped anything. And so now I can go ahead and execute this cell in what Python environment it asks. And so this is going to be in our base environment. You'll see now here at the right that it is executing that. And you can see it's already saying, hey, I already have that, but it's just going through the motions, just going through the process to see if anything else needs to be installed. Right, so those are the two main ways in which you would install new packages. If you already have a Jupyter Notebook open and you want to be able to use that new version, you might need to restart. Okay, that restarts the kernel. Because if you change a package that's installed once the kernel and the notebook is already loaded, it may not have access to the new version. Right? So restart is a good place to go.